It was supposed to be one of the most emotional nights of Jin's solo tour, a celebration of music, resilience, and the enduring bond between BTS and ARMY. Yet, what unfolded on the penultimate night in Amsterdam has left the fandom in shock, sparking endless debates and conspiracy theories online. As Jin stood on stage under the soft blue lights, the opening piano notes of Spring Day began to play. The song, known for its deep emotional resonance and its connection to one of South Korea's most tragic national memories, had always been a moment for reflection. Tonight, however, it became something else entirely. Halfway through the chorus, the stadium erupted, not with the usual synchronized fan chants, but with a deafening chant of one name: Jungkook. 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 The volume swelled, echoing off the arena walls, drowning out the delicate instrumental. Jin, visibly caught off guard, hesitated. His microphone lowered slightly, his lips parted, but no sound came out. His eyes glistened under the stage lights, the expression on his face shifting between confusion and something far more vulnerable. And then, cameras caught it. In the VIP section, Si Hyuk, the founder of HYB and the man often credited with shaping BTS's trajectory, sat back in his seat and smiled. It wasn't a warm, supportive smile. Fans described it online as calculated, knowing, and almost smug. The image spread across social media like wildfire. "Why is he smiling while Jin is in tears?" one fan wrote. "This is cruel." Another commented by the end of the performance, Jin barely managed to finish the song. His voice cracked on the final line, "I miss you," before he took a sharp bow and exited the stage without his usual closing remarks. Backstage leaks from crew members only fueled the speculation. Some claimed that Jin asked why Jungkook's name was chanted in such a moment, while others whispered about long-standing tensions that HYB had been trying to downplay. Theories began flooding in. Was the chant a coordinated ARMY show of support for Jungkook during Jin's vulnerable moment? Or was it an intentional disruption meant to send a message to the company? Why did Si Hyuk smile, and why did Jin freeze instead of pushing through the song? No official statement has been released, but insiders suggest that this may have been more than just an awkward concert moment. Some point to recent whispers of creative disagreements between certain members and management, while others believe the reaction was part of a deeper, more calculated strategy. Whatever the truth, one thing is certain: that night in Amsterdam will be remembered not just for Jin's trembling voice or the haunting echo of Spring Day, but for the image of Si Hyuk smiling in the shadows as the stadium chanted another member's name, and armies are demanding answers. The energy backstage after that moment was unlike anything the crew had seen before. Staff members avoided eye contact with Jin as he walked past them, head down, towel clutched tightly in one hand. The silence was thick enough to cut through, broken only by the distant roar of fans still chanting outside. His steps were quick, almost hurried, as if he wanted to escape the weight of the stage and the noise that still clung to the air. Jungkook was not in Amsterdam that night, but his presence was felt more than anyone else's. Fans had spotted him in Seoul just hours before, in a casual cafe, laughing with friends. Yet here, thousands of kilometers away, his name was being shouted with the intensity of a battle cry. The question of why became the spark for an online storm. Some claimed the chant was a show of solidarity after recent rumors about tensions between Jin and the company. Others argued it was meant as a subtle protest, a reminder to management of the member many believed was being overshadowed or mishandled. Meanwhile, Si Hyuk's smile was replayed endlessly in fan edits and analysis threads. In slow motion, his expression seemed to carry layers: polite approval, detached amusement, and something colder lurking just beneath. The more fans watched it, the more interpretations arose. Was it satisfaction? Disbelief? Or was it simply a calculated composure in the face of an unexpected disruption? Within hours, hashtags demanding an explanation topped trends in multiple countries. Fan translations of the moment, dissected frame by frame, filled Twitter and TikTok. Clips comparing Jin's trembling voice to previous performances went viral, with captions suggesting that something, or someone, was weighing heavily on him. Some users pointed out that Si Hyuk did not clap when the song ended, nor did he appear to speak to Jin afterward. Instead, he was seen leaving his seat early, flanked by two HYB staff members, disappearing before the encore began. Jin, for his part, did not return for a meet and greet that night. The official reason given was vocal strain, but fans who had met him earlier in the day described him as upbeat, warm, and talkative. This sudden shift in demeanor only fueled suspicions that what happened on stage had cut deeper than anyone was willing to admit. The following morning, local reporters attempted to question Si Hyuk as he was leaving his hotel. He offered no comment, only a short wave and a tight smile before getting into a waiting car. That image, him behind the tinted window, the faint reflection of his own face staring back, spread as quickly as the concert clip itself. Inside the fandom, lines were being drawn. Some insisted that chanting was inappropriate during such an emotional performance, calling it disrespectful to Jin. Others argued it was the only way to send a message that couldn't be ignored, especially with management present. The smaller, but growing, group began circulating theories that the entire thing was orchestrated, that someone had planned the chant to provoke a reaction from both Jin and Si Hyuk. Whichever side one took, the moment had already become a landmark in BTS history, a flashpoint that would be dissected for months, if not years. The emotional weight of Spring Day, already tied to loss and longing, had now absorbed a fresh layer of controversy. What was meant to be a night of music and connection had become a mirror reflecting the unspoken tensions between members, management, and the fans themselves. And yet, the most haunting part of that night was not the chant, nor the smile, nor even Jin's silence. It was the way the lights dimmed after the song ended, leaving the stage empty, the microphones stand still in place, as if waiting for words that would never come. The hours after the Amsterdam concert felt like a slow-moving storm that refused to pass. Online, the footage of Jin freezing mid-song as the crowd roared Jungkook's name was spreading across every platform imaginable. On Twitter, fans were replaying the moment in loops, some lowering the audio to focus on the faint sigh Jin seemed to let out, others zooming in on his hands as they tightened around the microphone. On TikTok, creators were layering the clip with emotional piano music, framing it as a heartbreaking betrayal. And then there were the edits that spliced together Si Hyuk's reaction from multiple angles, each one dissected to the point where fans were assigning motives to the exact curve of his smile. By midday the following day, the incident had grown beyond just fan discourse. It was in entertainment headlines across South Korea and international music blogs. Some articles were sympathetic, painting Jin as an artist caught in an unexpected and deeply uncomfortable situation. Others were more speculative, questioning whether the chant was a coordinated fan effort or an organic eruption of loyalty toward Jungkook. Regardless of the angle, one constant remained. The image of Si Hyuk's expression had become inseparable from the story. Back in Seoul, Jungkook finally addressed his fans through a late-night Weverse post. It was short, almost frustratingly vague, just a thank you to ARMY for always remembering each member and a request to keep supporting us all equally. But the choice of words only poured more gasoline on the fire. Supporters of Jin felt the post failed to acknowledge the hurt caused in Amsterdam. Jungkook's own defenders argued that it was unfair to expect him to publicly criticize his own fans or the situation, especially when he hadn't been present. Behind the scenes, rumors began to swirl about an emergency meeting held at HYB's headquarters. Anonymous accounts claiming to be close to staff members hinted that Jin had raised concerns about the chant and the company's handling of it, while others whispered that Si Hyuk had been unbothered, even amused, by the disruption. The idea that management might see fan unrest as a useful tool to test loyalty, to create buzz, to gauge public sentiment, was a theory no one could prove, but many wanted to believe. Jin, meanwhile, appeared the next night for the final concert of his tour. The crowd greeted him with a carefully organized purple ocean and banners reading, "We're here for you, Jin." There was no chanting of any other member's name, no disruptions, but his performance of Spring Day was different. His voice was steady, but there was a deliberate distance in his eyes, as though he had built an invisible wall between himself and the moment. When he finished, he gave a small bow, said thank you, and walked off without lingering. Bang Si Hyuk did not attend that final show. His absence was noted immediately by fans in attendance and became yet another talking point online. Some took it as a sign of respect that he had chosen to step back to avoid overshadowing the night. Others saw it as evidence of a rift, one that had been forming quietly for months, maybe even years, days later. The incident still refused to fade from public conversation. Every time a fan account posted a photo of Jin from the tour, comments inevitably circled back to Amsterdam. Every interview Jungkook gave was scrutinized for hidden meaning, and every public sighting of Bang Si Hyuk was met with whispers about whether he would ever address what happened. What remains most unsettling is the unanswered question that hangs in the air like smoke. Why did Bang Si Hyuk smile at that exact moment? Was it a slip of emotion, revealing something he had kept hidden? Was it simply a reaction born of habit and composure? Or was it, as the more cynical corners of the fandom suggest, the satisfaction of watching an unpredictable moment play out exactly as intended? Until someone speaks openly, the truth will remain trapped between speculation and silence. And in that silence, the Amsterdam moment grows larger in memory, threatening to become less a fleeting disruption and more a symbol of something unspoken between the members, the fans, and the man who built their empire.